What it do, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I wanted to go ahead and do a tutorial where I use eyeshadows that I already own to create a look that I felt like I would have created had I picked up the most recent Gourmande Girls eyeshadow palette that they did in collaboration with Doodles by the Bunny. Don't get me wrong, I think that palette is beautiful. It looks so nice. I think that the variety in textures looks nice. I love the contrast that they have shown with the light colors, meaning more of that yellow coloring, and then they have some deep colors like those nice purples. I think that the palette looks beautiful, but sometimes you can't afford to buy the palette that looks beautiful, and sometimes you just shouldn't. It has nothing to do with finances. So come along the journey. This is going to be probably a really quick video, but I just wanted to show you guys this eye tutorial. I had so much fun just literally sitting down creating this. I was literally on FaceTime with a friend when I did it, and I felt like, let's record this. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let's just dive on in. Hey guys, so I already talked about it in the intro. I'm just gonna be pulling together quite a few different palettes, quite a few different shadows. I will have everything listed and linked down below to create this look inspired by a look that I feel like I would have created had I picked up the palette. So I'm not gonna make this a long little kind of segue. We're just gonna go ahead and get right into it. First thing first, I'm gonna go ahead and apply some eyeshadow primer. Today I'm going to go ahead and use my About Face eyeshadow primer. This is just one of my go-to primers. Use whatever primer you feel most comfortable in and you feel works best for you. This is just one of the primers that just works for me. I'm going to be mainly using the Sigma E40, and right now they actually have, I want to say, 40% off for everybody, but 50% off if you are a student or a teacher. So I would highly recommend using that discount if you have the money and you are interested. They have really great quality brushes and some fantastic makeup as well. I'm going to go into my Colored Rain. This is their Pigments palette, their Vivid Pigments palette, and I'm going to use this yellow. The palette had quite a few yellows. I believe one at least was a matte. And so I really wanted to bring that to this look. I love matte yellows. I love yellows in general. And so I really wanted to make sure to incorporate this color in my look. And it does look more pigmented right around the crease. That's just kind of how this shadow applies, but I do like the shadow for pigmentation wise on my skin tone. It's one of the best. There are better, I'm not gonna lie, but I was kind of in a pinch just trying to reach for something, and because I had applied a shadow previously and it did not work the way I wanted. So just keep that in mind and just take your time to blend out. As you can see now that I've blended it out, it's not as harsh right there in that crease, and it's just gonna look a lot better in the overall look. As you can see now, it kind of blends in a lot better to my skin. Then I'm gonna reach for the palette that I've used recently quite a bit, and that's the Lick and Lash Playful palette. It looks like the brand is no longer a thing, which is unfortunate, but I love this palette, so I'll probably keep it in my collection for my lifetime. I'm gonna reach for this green lime shade. There's so many green lime shades, so many, but this is one of my favorites. I just love this palette and this shade, and I'm just going to focus this in the middle of my crease. And with this look in general, I'm not really stressing over blending out the outer edges. I want this to be very impactful, very bold eye look, because the rest of my face is quite neutral. So I'm just really blending up. I don't really care. Nice and pigmented. and really just trying to keep a nice light hand to ensure that the blend is good, but also that I get a nice even application of the shade. So there's that. And also don't forget to kind of wipe your brush off. I just happen to have a microfiber towel here on my desk, so that's where I'm wiping my brush off. Same brush still, and I'm gonna go into the shade right next to it that has Pan. This is one of my favorite kind of warm purples. It's a really, really beautiful shade. And with this shade, I'm gonna be a lot more focused on how I'm applying it and start low and slightly blend up. And as I blend up, I'm going to start to wing it out. Towards the end, I really focused on that wing, but it's really just focusing on this not going too high and not doing too much. I just want to deepen up that V, but as you can see, it's kind of very loosely an outer V. It doesn't go too high, it doesn't go too far out. It's just a really beautiful deepener shade, and I am going to go ahead and deepen out my whole lower lash line with the exact same shade. And this is what it's looking like as of right now. Very nice, a little bit choppy on that outer V, but we will blend it out. And how I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna reach right back into my lime shade and I'm just gonna blend. I'm gonna make sure to lightly blend that outer, the edges. I don't want to put too much pressure on the brush, and I don't want to apply too much of the green. I want this to kind of be like a halo effect around that purple, but also actually blending out the purple. It's a weird thing that I do this technique, and when I do this, I just really like how it looks. And I'm just gonna bring this in a little bit more. Okay, so you can see how it's really building that whole system, and it really looks nice. One thing I do find sometimes is that this eye, it just overall looks different. I think I have more of a hood on this eye, so I need to make sure that both eyes, the purple is in the same place. And I think this eye, the purple is lower. So I'm just going to work on making sure that they're even and just slowly building. I don't want to do it too quickly, because if I do, then I could make a mistake and it's harder to take away pigment, but it's, so I just try to go slow. I think it's still a little bit off. Okay, for now, I think that's where I'm gonna leave it. I will double check when I go off camera to do everything else that I need to do. Then I'm actually gonna reach, I have a lot of Z palettes, or like what fake little Z palettes that house a whole bunch of single shadows. Today's single shadow that I'm going to use for my lid happens to be from Divina Cosmetics, and it is Kazukles. I think that's the name of it. And this was one of my favorite collections. I remember that. I don't buy a lot of single shadows anymore, but when I was a fan, Divina was definitely one of my favorite brands. This shade, I remember being sparkly and a little bit glittery, so I did go ahead and spray my brush because I am too lazy to look for a form of glitter glue. I tend to only spray it once for each eye, and I find that that's enough like saturation or liquid on the brush to hold all of the lid shade that I need for that look. And I'm just going to apply this shade all over the lid. I think that this is the perfect shadow for this look. It really bounces off of the shades that I used in my crease. That beautiful yellow, the green bounces off of the purple, and it just really works. So I'm so happy about that. I do still have a tinge bit of fallout right under both eyes, but I kind of expected that with such a sparkly, like, beautiful shade. If I put glitter glue on though, it wouldn't have been that. So it's more on me than the palette, and that's perfectly fine. I don't really care. Then as for my inner corner highlight, I actually decided to just use a white, and that white is just going to be from the Blend Bunny Cosmetics Surge palette. I told you guys, I really just kind of was picking and pulling palettes and products that I just needed to create the look that I felt I was going to want to create had I picked up the palette. It's a beautiful palette, but I can't build that into my budget right now. So I want to use what I have to create the looks that I really want to create. And that's pretty much the look. I pretty much created the exact same thing. I hope you guys are enjoying this quick tutorial. I'm just going to hop off camera, add my liners, add my lashes, mascara, all of that. And then I'll come back to show you guys the finished look, and we can kind of wrap up why I did this tutorial. Alrighty guys, so this is the finished look. Alrighty guys, so this is the finished look, and I will say for me, this is a beautiful grungy eyeshadow look. I'm really vibing with this look right now, and I think for me, the key for me in doing this tutorial was to show myself, and then also to kind of kindly remind you guys that although it is so nice to try new brands, to get new eyeshadow palettes, it's not a necessity, right? We all have the basic colors, every color we could probably ever think of, with different undertones, different nuances already in our collections. If you're into YouTube specifically, if you're at my channel, you already have those things. You're deep into the makeup world. And so although it is so nice to get something new and to add to your collection, just know that if you can't afford it, if you don't want it, shop around. Shop your eyeshadow palettes just as easily and as effectively as we shop our foundation collection or our highlighter collection if we don't need to buy yet another gold. You didn't need to buy another yellow. You didn't need to buy another purple. Stuff like that. So that was my purpose in doing this video for me, and moving forward for myself. You know, I had previously said, and I'll probably talk more in depth on this in like maybe a get ready with me or something. I previously said that I was going to allow myself to buy one eyeshadow palette per month, and I feel like I've been doing pretty good on that towards the end of this year. But I mean, do I really even need that? So we'll see. We'll see if there's an eyeshadow palette that really gets me to break this kind of mentality. I just, you know, certain things become more a priority than makeup. I love makeup. Don't get me wrong. I'm not one of those people who are falling out of love for makeup. No. But I'm falling in love with using what I already have so that I don't necessarily over consume something that I quite literally don't need. So I can't wait to read all of you guys' comments down below. If any of you guys do go ahead and try this tutorial, please definitely comment down below. Send me the photo, tag me in the photo, whatever it is. I would love to see you guys' tutorials and your photos and all of that jazz. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and with that said, that's all I got. I'll see you guys in my next video, which actually I have a video coming up tomorrow. So yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow, and then I'll see you guys next week. Alrighty guys, bye.